We have Halo Reach PC and Master Chief Collection flighting news, baby. Halo Waypoint just dropped their monthly recap of the flight progress, the current flight, and over 20,000 insiders invited, and even talk about crossplay, what matchmaking is going to look like when it launches, new images, where to get legacy content, character customization from the armor menu, of course, options and settings to use in MCC's Reach, and even minimum specs to run the game at specific resolutions. Here is everything about the latest in Halo Reach PC news. This video is supported by Audible. Snag yourself a free Halo audiobook right down in the description below. So let's start by recapping in October. Earlier in the month of October, they tested Halo Reach multiplayer on Xbox One. If you guys remember, I talked about this a little bit. The flight's main goals were to test the back end of each of the matchmaking offerings that were going to be available when Reach joins MCC on Xbox. This was actually the biggest flight inviting more users than ever, which adequately tested the back end services, thus making this launch even more suited for the public at this point. So let's go balls deep into this Waypoint post and talk about crossplay first, and then customization, the Forge pieces, and what we're going to get on launch day. So one of the biggest questions that we've had since MCC PC has came out, at least me personally, was, well, if I'm playing on PC, can I play with people on Xbox? That's called crossplay, right? Well, right now they confirm crossplay between Steam and Windows 10 store versions of the game, which I feel is to be, of course, expected. They're both on PC. But at launch, Xbox and PC crossplay will not be there. However, it's something that they, quote, will monitor and evaluate over time, whatever that means. I think they're just going to check it out and hopefully have it up one day, but I think it really depends on the demand out there because it sounds like it's technically a very challenging thing for them to do. But anyway, they did mention that if you own both PC and Xbox versions, campaign progress will be updated between the two. However, mid-mission saves will not be there. They gave us a graph, so basically you can see a lot is going on here. Basically, it explains everything and what the heck is going on as far as progress and compatibility and quote-unquote crossplay. Now, I think what most of us are interested in here is at the very bottom left, Reach customization unlocks for armor, in which they highlighted all blue saying that they are retained to Xbox Live profiles, but it may be re-equipped on new platforms, whatever that means. So I think that means that it does transfer over if you are playing on Xbox and then you jump onto your PC, but I'm not quite sure. If you know the answer to that, let me know down in the comments below. So many of you are probably drooling at the mouth at this point about Halo Reach customization and the new progression system that we're going to have across the board, not just with Reach, but also all of MCC. So if you play Halo 1 and then Halo 3 over here and there, basically that ranks your entire rank up as if it was all one game. So they said in the Waypoint post, when Halo Reach joins MCC, several new features are going to be live for the entire game. One of these features, they say, is a progression system that will keep track of and allow you to level up a global rank across all titles available in MCC. As y'all probably already know, Reach, of course, is dropping first, and then Halo 1 and then chronological order. Of course, it will be launching as Reach is just by itself on PC. But for all those wondering, for Xbox, all multiplayer matchmaking in the collection will give you experience points to level up, and there's also going to be challenges and tiers and whole systems. But basically for all the entire first season, which is basically, you know, a chunk of time, right, where we're going to be able to unlock certain pieces of armor and character customization for Halo Reach. Customization looks really cool. I'm borrowing some of Late Night Gaming's footage, so I'll leave a link down to the Twitter post that had this footage, but this is all from the most recent flight, which doesn't look too much different from, you know, other people's footage from the customization menu. But by the way, if you don't know, it's running off the Unreal Engine, and honestly, I would say it almost looks better than the game itself, and that makes sense because Unreal Engine, unlike Halo Reach that was developed back in 2010, is actually up to date and its graphics are, well, a little bit smoother. But anyways, they don't actually have a final list of armors that'll be available at launch, but as far as customization options go, the same list will be there. So basically, there will be a section for the helmet, shoulder, chest, wrist, utility, visor, knee, and armor effects. It says left shoulder there, which left me confused, but I think that was just a typo. I think both shoulders are going to be manageable, but also the images here are actually a work in progress of the so-called seasons or seasonal progression system and how we're going to be able to view and unlock new armor pieces. You know, honestly, I love this idea. I love the new progression system. I think it's going to really work out well with most Halo fans, but I gotta say, I really wish there was new armors. You know, that something that I feel kind of disappointed that we're doing like all this progression for basically unlocking armors that are almost 10 years old at this point. That we most of us probably have most of them already in our 360 copies, but and that's not transferring over, of course. So I don't know, just a thought. But that's why I can't wait for mods. Now, there's actually a flight going on right now. To that flight specifics, I covered some of this already in, a video earlier, but for convenience, I'm going to put it right here. Here's all the PC flight content that is going to be occurring over the next few days up to November 5th, and it already started, I think, the 29th or 28th. But we actually have Noble Actual and Winter Contingency campaign missions, which is, by the way, just one mission, Winter Contingency. The other one's just a cutscene. But also Firefight, Heroic, and Normal Arcade, both on Beachhead, Corvette, and Holdout. And also multiplayer matchmaking, of course, 2v2, 4v4, and 8v8 social on a variety of modes like Slayer, Flag and Bomb, Zone Control, and so on. There's a little variety there, but also Team Hardcore and Vanilla Invasion. Now, there's a whole list of scheduled play sessions you can read into if you're one of these lucky insiders. God knows I'm not, but basically, 343 has these few hour-long planned sessions to stress test the game, but so far, I think it's looking pretty good. Another thing that many of us have been wondering is, can my computer even run Halo Reach or these other Halo games? Well, likely if the teams have done their job well, then this game should be able to run on most computers. But thankfully, we actually have some specs instead of just saying, well, if I can run games that released last year or in 2017, then I should be able to run Halo Reach, right? Well, we don't have any specs about Halo 1, 2, and 3, even though 1 and 2 are already on PC, and I think most computers, if not all now, can still run it, right? 1 and 2. But chances are, I think you're going to be fine if you can run those games, and you could probably run Reach. Now, the specs have, as I've been showing here, is, it's all laid out for you in a very super helpful way that lists the min CPU, the GPU, RAM, and average FPS by AMD and NVIDIA. Now, the graphics card is probably what you're going to want to pay attention to most. The minimum card for NVIDIA is actually a $180 card estimate. I looked around, there's different prices for it, but the minimum for 1080p AMD is the R7370, which is around $250, more or less. One of these cards are going to do fine. They are the minimum, so really, you want to probably have a graphics card that cost you $300 or $400 in the past 4 years. Before that, if you haven't updated your graphics card in like 5 years, one, what are you doing? But two, just look at this and do your research, Google it, compare. Now, as we heard a while back, Forge is going to be delayed and not released at launch when Halo Reach comes to PC, and I feel like a lot of people just haven't fully acknowledge that, especially the masses that will just pick up this game. So prepare to, expect that to not be there at launch, and don't get pissed when you see it's not on the menu. But Lord Zedd may have found out actually why it was delayed. Now, he said in the description of a video that he posted with all these new items on, he said that he came across some interesting strings or, names and files in the flight map and found that the Tempest level, the multiplayer map on Halo Reach, made use of them. In his video, which I'm linking down in the description, and now I'm showing here, shows tons of these new vehicles and models that were never in the original Forge, but certainly was in the campaign. Reach's campaign had tons of drivable civilian vehicles like the forklift or the mini Jeep, and the guy actually flies around the Seraph. Now, I don't know if that itself is a mod, but this all really looks cool, and I actually think there is a Seraph. There's a way to fly the Seraph in the Halo Reach campaign, so maybe it's not a mod. But anyway, this all looks really cool, and I can't wait to see more of it. I really don't know how likely all of this is going to be with PC. I would say don't expect it at launch, of course, but I think modders are going to get into the files. They're going to bring everything from the campaign, including probably AI and NPCs, and bring it over to Forge with unlimited budget. I think that's going to be really cool. Again, I just borrowed some of Lord Zedd's video there just to show you guys what I'm talking about, but if you want to see the full video and the full list of items that he shows off, then I'll leave a link down in the description. One thing that's always annoyed me though with Forge is map exclusive pieces. So I hope that's removed from like the whole thing with this new Forge, if they are working on modifying the Forge to be more, available for everything, right? I want also all the models from the campaign, because there's just so many that are not being taken advantage of in Forge when they could be, that should be ported over to Forge in a limitless fashion. Am I right? One thing I did miss in this Waypoint post is actually some really nice options and settings for us in Halo Reach's PC version. There's bindings for the keyboard and mouse, jumper gamepad controls, mouse sensitivity, zoom, vehicle acceleration, minimum and max, scale and power, mouse smoothing, crouch behavior, and also field of view but also for vehicles and resolution scale and aspect ratio, VSync, HUD anchoring, not quite sure what that is though, frame rate limit, volume controls, and crosshair position, plus toggle invite controls notifications. And also another thing I found was the accessibility controls here, which seems to be kind of interesting. Of course, it includes the subtitles and language, but also converting speech to text and text to speech. If you want to get a new perspective on Halo Reach before you play it, a much more informed perspective about what's happening, then I recommend listening to Halo Fall of Reach on Audible. Listen to it for free down in the description. Super easy, just sign up. And it really makes the story come much more alive when you read the books. You really understand what is happening on a much more grand but also intimate scale. So yeah, check it out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited for Halo Reach to come out PC. I would say maybe November, late November, maybe the beginning of December we can expect maybe Reach to come out, but really no one knows. These flights just keep happening, but it seems like they're getting closer and much larger, and I think something big is about to be announced, so really thrilled about that. I will keep you guys updated as soon as that happens, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.